Most Australians have no idea where they actually stand. They look at their bank account, glance at their super, maybe think about the house, and just hope it all adds up to something one day. But hope is not a strategy. And in 2026, with the cost of living biting harder than ever and the federal budget just rewriting the rules on property and capital gains, hope is the fastest way to stay stuck. Here is the truth nobody told you. The financial moves that build wealth at $50,000 are completely different from the moves that protect wealth at $5 million. If you use the wrong strategy at the wrong level, you will spend 10 years running and end up exactly where you started. So today, I am breaking down the smartest financial strategies by net worth in Australia, using the latest KPMG and ABS data, plus the changes from the May 2026 budget. So you know exactly what to do next, based on where you are right now. Let me give you the numbers first so you can pin yourself on the map. According to KPMG analysis of ABS data for 2024 to 2025, the average Australian household net worth is now $1.66 million. But the bottom 20% of households hold just $35,200. The middle sits around $1 million. And the top 20% averages $3.23 million. To crack the top 1%, you need roughly $8.3 million in net wealth. Wealth peaks between ages 55 and 64 at around $2.5 million per household. And here is the kicker. Almost 70% of all Australian wealth is locked inside the family home. That single fact changes everything about how you should think about your strategy. It also explains why so many Australians feel cash poor while looking wealthy on paper. Let us start at the bottom. If your net worth is under $50,000, your enemy is not the share market. Your enemy is debt and cash flow. The number one move here is wiping out high-interest debt. Credit cards in Australia still charge between 18 and 22%, with the average sitting around 21% on balances carrying interest. Personal loans sit around 10 to 15%. No investment in the world consistently beats those numbers. So the strategy is brutal and simple. Use the avalanche method. List every debt. Pay the minimum on all of them. Throw every extra dollar at the highest interest rate first. Then roll that payment into the next one. While you do this, build a starter emergency fund of $2,000 in a high-interest savings account and open a separate account for your bills. Automate everything. The less you have to think about money, the better your decisions become. At this stage, your superannuation guarantee is doing the long-term work for you in the background. Your job is to fix the leaks. And the biggest leak for most Aussies in this bracket is not coffee or smashed arvo. It is lifestyle inflation, subscription bloat, and a car loan they could not really afford. Cut those three, and you free up hundreds of dollars a month almost overnight. Now let us climb. If your net worth sits between $50,000 and $250,000, you are in the build phase. The debt is mostly under control. You probably have a deposit forming or a small share portfolio. This is where most Australians get stuck for 10 years because they cannot decide between property and shares. Here is the framework. Max out the easy wins first. Salary sacrifice into super up to the $30,000 concessional cap. And remember, from the 1st of July 2026, that cap rises to $32,500, giving you even more room to lower your tax bill. Next, build a 3 to 6 month emergency fund. Then start a low-cost index fund portfolio through ETFs. If property is your goal, the First Home Super Saver scheme lets you use your super to save a deposit with serious tax benefits. At this level, your job is to turn income into assets. And remember, the goal is not to feel rich. The goal is to be rich. Next tier, net worth between $250,000 and $1 million. This is where Australia's middle wealth class lives. You probably own a home, you have some super, maybe an investment property, or a growing share portfolio. The strategy shifts from accumulation to optimization. First, structure matters more than selection. Look into debt recycling, where you convert non-deductible home loan debt into deductible investment debt. Second, the 2026 federal budget handed down on the 12th of May changed the property game in a big way. From the 1st of July 2027, negative gearing on established residential investment properties bought after 7:30 p.m. on budget night will be limited. You can no longer deduct those rental losses against your salary income. Negative gearing on brand new builds is staying, which is a clear signal from the government about where they want investor money to flow. If property is part of your plan, focus on cash flow, positive deals, quality growth areas, or new builds. Third, diversify beyond Australian shares. The ASX is heavy in banks and miners. Global ETFs spread your risk. Finally, get your insurance right. Income protection, life, and TPD inside super. This is also the stage to review your home loan every 18 months. A 0.30% rate cut on a $600,000 mortgage saves you thousands a year. Loyalty to your bank is one of the most expensive habits in Australia. Now, the top end. If your net worth is between $1 million and $5 million, congratulations. You're in the top 20% of Australian households. But this is where most people make their biggest mistake. They keep playing the same game that got them here. The strategy now is preservation, tax efficiency, and structure. Self-managed super funds become viable, especially with balances above $500,000. Family trusts allow income splitting across adult family members in lower tax brackets. Franking credits from Australian shares can dramatically lift your after-tax return, particularly as you approach retirement. But pay close attention to the other big change from the May 2026 budget. From the 1st of July 2027, the 50% capital gains tax discount is being replaced with cost-based indexation and a 30% discount cap on assets held more than 12 months. For high-income earners selling investment properties or share portfolios, this changes the maths significantly. Talk to a licensed financial advisor and a good accountant. The fees you pay are almost always smaller than the tax you save. At this level, you also need an estate plan, a will, enduring powers of attorney, and binding death benefit nominations on your super. Without these, the tax office and the courts decide where your wealth goes. And finally, the top 1%, net worth above $5 million. You are no longer trying to build wealth. You are trying to keep it, grow it, and pass it on. Strategies here include private credit, wholesale investor opportunities, direct commercial property, and international diversification. With the upcoming CGT changes, multi-year capital gains planning is now essential. Philanthropic structures like private ancillary funds offer huge tax benefits while creating a legacy. And honestly, at this level, the biggest risks are not market crashes. They are family disputes, divorce, and bad advice. Governance becomes everything. The wealthiest Australian families treat their wealth like a business, with quarterly reviews, clear roles, and written rules. Without that structure, fortunes rarely survive past the second generation. So here's what you can do today. Work out your net worth. Add up every asset, subtract every debt, and write the number down. Then look at the tier you are in and pick one single move from that tier to action this week. Because wealth in Australia is not built by people who know the most. It is built by people who execute consistently, at the right level, at the right time. The Australians who retire wealthy are rarely the smartest in the room. They are the ones who picked a clear plan, stuck with it through every market dip, every interest rate cycle, every loud headline, and let compounding do the heavy lifting. If this video gave you a clearer picture of where you stand and what to do next, do me a favor and hit the like button. And if you're not subscribed yet, now's the time. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. I'll see you there.